Oh, guys, let me think. Why am I've shared this story too many times.
Just go ahead, share it. You're good.
See, it's a very, like, I ran away. I ran away at night. Like, I devastated my parents. You know, depending on how I don't want to make the Hutterites seem like bad people, but it's not a good situation.
We grew up in an Amish setting. We grew up with a strong work ethic, has to be the best. Things have to be really good. Halfway doesn't work for us.
I grew up without electricity. Everything was done by hand, including, you know, loading manure out of the horse barn. It was handwork because we weren't allowed to have skid loaders, etc.
9 when we left that culture. It was a big transition in my life, and to a large extent I still feel that very much, you know, as sort of the foundation, the heritage.
Like I never felt my parents hated me, but I wasn't sure that they actually loved me or like that they were proud of me, because I didn't get those were like my primary modes of communicating love, and I didn't receive that because of cultural taboos. That translated into a drive to perform and like prove myself. I'm worth being loved. Like I said, I don't consider that a positive thing in itself.
In our culture where I grew up, we were taught to just cope, and we did not look out to see what is our problem. What do I need to do to fix this?
I'm Michael McIntyre, and together with my amazing wife, Stacy, we built the company to $3 billion in sales. And we are personally coaching small business owners to their next level of success. We are joined by our entrepreneur daughters, Brianna and Brecca, and we are helping entrepreneurs around the country reach their dreams. So buckle up and hold on tight, because we are moving fast. This is the Accelerator. We're going to beautiful, thrilling, fast-paced South Dakota.
Michael agreed to come and clear the decks for us, which we asked him, if he can do one thing for us, please do this. And I believe that is our biggest need, and I believe he will help us execute that and make it happen.
Clear the decks is a term, and we'll talk more about it, but it's a sailing term. And on the boat, if the weather gets rough, they say clear the decks. So if the sailors are out there manning the sails or doing stuff, they don't trip over and fall overboard. So we're going to clear the deck. Clear the decks is one of the things that we use with families or businesses, churches. We've used it in all different realms. And we set ground rules. So when people come in, we want all the game players in the process, and the spouses too, somewhere off-site, again, outside the business, because we want to set up a place to where there's no distraction. It's going to be a 4 to 6 hour day. One of the ground rules in Clear the Decks is whoever is speaking, nobody else can speak. 15 minutes to say whatever they want to whomever they want. And one of the things we also set up is confidentiality.
Brings out things that people didn't ever want to talk about. For a moment, it can really make them think that it messed everything up, but it doesn't in the end.
Right.
In the end, it brings out the things that need to happen, and changes that need to happen in the business.
What comes from that is healing. And we learned this way back in the day with our children and raising responsible children.
We would have meetings, we would have family meetings, and we would do that. We would have everybody go around and say how they felt. And so we learned a lot about what everybody was unhappy about, but it was real and it was honest. And that's what we are creating with businesses now. Clear the Decks is probably one of the most effective things we do, and it's generally the initial thing we do. It really moves businesses, it moves families, it moves relationships, it can move mountains. All right. All right, welcome. Look at you guys, looking good? Everybody feeling good? Yes. Yes?
All right. So, Stacy and I are really honored to be here today to do Clear the Deck. This business is a family business, right? We got Lester at the end, and Lester, this is originally your idea, yes? Mm-hmm. And then we've got Jeremiah, and Jeremiah's amazing in installations, I understand. And then we got the patriarch of the family, Vernon. And Vernon, you come along a long line of woodworking and doing things and teaching these young men how to be a good father and how to be a great leader, which you've done an amazing job, right? And then we've got Albert. And Albert, you were on the mission field with Liz for how many years? 8 years. Yeah, I'm sure. And which is amazing. And you've got a really engineering systems mind. You've got a mechanical mind. And then we got Clayton here, salesperson of this company, kind of like the personality. It's really cool seeing the dynamic over here. And then we've got the wives over here. So we're going to have, the first two questions are going to be, what's working for you and what's not working for you? Who wants the first question? Who wants to take it? Anybody can take it. All right.
So is this what's working for me or for the business?
Whatever you want. Timer on. Let me know when he's got 5 minutes left.
Make it easier to focus on the things that aren't working. So things that Lester and I have worked alongside each other for probably, is it 5 years?
More than that. Like 7. Right?
Well, yeah, 7 or 8 years, but that you and I were basically in leadership. Basically, we were the two heads, and we were leading the team. And over that time, we've done things that have hurt each other and has caused each other to be triggered. We've gone through a lot. I react differently to the things that we went through than Lester does. So now I see him reacting to a situation, I'm reacting because I see him reacting, and I feel like it's going to go into a bad spiral, and then he's like, what in the world are you doing? Like, he thinks I'm just not thinking about it, and I feel like he's overthinking it and being ideal. So out of that, we have a lot of stress.
I think we've really worked good together in the past. He is the designer and the salesman. He should be the designer and somebody else should be the salesman.
Why is that?
Because he is the customer advocate. Salesmen can't be customer advocates, from my perspective. He really wants to make it work for the customer. And salesmen sometimes have to tell customers, sorry, it's not going to work.
The thing I think is not working is, I think it's systems. If I could walk around and show you some things that are systems now that were just a wild dream, and they took 10 and 20 hours to build, and it's so amazing. But we can never reproduce that and implement a system for it. And that is all throughout the business, the shop. We installed a kitchen yesterday, and there's still some drawers that should have automatically been shallow, because if we had a system, that would have happened. So I just see systems as a big problem.
Is there change orders?
Those are, yeah, we'd love to do that for you.
Okay, so change orders. Do you charge for change orders?
I feel bad.
That would make you feel bad?
Those people, it would hurt them because it would cost more.
And so you don't charge them?
Sometimes they do. You know what I'm talking about.
Don't talk.
Okay, just one at a time. Okay, remember the ground rules, right? Okay, he's got the sheet.
One question, is it okay to ask a question?
Yes. Go ahead. I'm going to give you protocol. Grace.
One thing I was wondering is, are all of you clear? I mean, do all of you feel the same way in the fact that right now it is run by a three-headed monster, or two-headed, or whatever?
Do you want an answer from each one of them?
I want to know, are all of you clear?
It's not a three-headed monster.
Or two-headed?
Or two-headed?
Two guys.
Two guys, all right, no monster.
Not a two-headed monster.
Okay. Jeremiah?
Yeah, more or less. I mean, sounds bad, but I agree something should change. Yes, absolutely.
Albert?
Yes, it is.
Clayton?
I think it's an unhealthy amount of leadership, yeah.
Vernon?
Yes, I would say it is the CEO.
Okay.
Okay, so Lester doesn't feel like, so do all of them need to be on the same page for things to move forward? Or is it okay that he feels that way? I feel like that is so important. Like,
Yes.
it's one of the main, if everyone is willing to submit to the authority that's being put in place, guys, what's there, it can go places. I truly believe that you can ship worldwide in no time, or at least nationwide.
We want this stuff, but we don't want to put in the effort to get there, that's my response and how I'm feeling.
Because you put in a lot of time.
We've sacrificed a lot to be here. And then to have people just come along and say, hey, I want a business that does...
Okay, and who are the people?
Jeremiah's one of them, but then again, he's put in a lot in the beginning. Like being paid very little when he was young. Like from 16 on, I think he's been working very hard for almost no pay because he was still, living at mom and dad's. He didn't have a lot of expenses. But now we're being paid the same amount. And it feels completely unfair because he can come and go and boom, whatever. And he has no stress or refuses stress. And I'm like, come on.
Because
you're being paid excellent for the stress you're willing to take. And here I'm sweating and sacrificing my credit card, my credit, and everything. And it's like, okay, how does this all match?
And so, let me ask you this, which I totally understand. Being an entrepreneur myself, I get it, the stress. Do you think they don't realize the burden you have to carry?
They do. They just they choose not to remember. Probably.
Okay.
I don't know.
You ready? Can you catch it? Look at you, one-handed. Come on.
So my biggest frustration, I see Clayton and Lester stress 100%. I actually do. And I understand it. The fact that I'm not there is a personal choice. And one that I don't feel like I can be guilt tripped for a few different reasons. Okay, for one, let's go back to that. Okay, I've tried to leave the company 3 different times, at least. Seriously leave it. One was when I was younger, I was 16. I would have rather gone and worked with Dad or built sheds or somewhere I knew I could have made way more money. It would have been a lot easier, no stress, all that stuff. So I have tried to leave. I haven't been allowed to. Which at the beginning, that was because I was young. And it was kind of like, you don't let your child make every decision, big decision. And I'm glad I didn't. I am really glad I didn't leave.
It feels like decisions have been made in business. Like everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be the best. It has to be the best. And whether or not all our personal credit cards are maxed out, we are going to have the best. And it's just like, you know what? It's not right now. We can't afford it. Like, and where is that? I used to have a poverty mindset. I would look at everything in my house and see a price tag attached to it and think, should I walk that? It was a bondage. And I feel like I've broken free from that tremendously and have, I feel the freedom behind not having that mindset, but also practicality and what is going to get us where we want, instead of just demanding the life we want right now.
Right. Right. So instead of having instant gratification, you're ready to have delayed gratification.
Yeah.
And also you're pragmatic. Right? All right. So, and what I mean by saying I can't afford it, okay, I understand the pragmatic of that. Okay, I understand the meaning of that.
That the money is not there right now.
But instead of saying that, because our words matter, okay, if I sit and walk around and say, I can't ever achieve what I want to achieve. Okay, so instead of saying I can't afford it, say, listen, I want to buy this new van. It costs $80,000.
And next year.
By next year, I'm going to buy this new van. Not yet, but next year. Instead of I can't afford it. Okay, I can afford it, but not this year. Okay, I'm going to do it next year. We're going to put a, whatever we want to do to get it done. It's simple thing. It's like when we say I have to do this. We don't have to do anything. I get to do it. I get to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I get to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I get to have 3 coaching calls by 9 a.m. because I get to help change people's lives and create wealth in the Christian community. That's what I get to do. Instead of saying, I have to get up tomorrow morning, so I've got to go to bed. No, I get to go to bed at 10 o'clock. You see the difference? It's just a little bit of difference.
It's a tweak.
It's a mindset.
But we're definitely not paying ourselves very much, This last year was the first time that I made as much money as I did before I got married. before I got married, I made more money than I had the last 10 years. And with 6 kids, it's a challenge. It's been 5 kids.
So, and what's not working is not having any freaking money. That's a big not working. Yes.
Yeah.
And so, hey, do you get a paycheck?
Yes.
Okay, it's not what you want it to be.
No.
Okay.
I mean, it's okay. It's not terrible. I will say, in the past it was. And since I got married, I've made good money, or decent. Very good compared to what I did. It's not like we're just struggling.
Say that again.
We don't own any part of the business right now. We're not.
Well,
Yeah, we own some of the stress, but we are hoping to.
yeah.
Negotiations have not been completed.
Yeah.
Oh, you two aren't. You two
Yes,
aren't.
Albert and I.
You two don't.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right. Because I remember down at the MBA, you were looking for a percentage of the company,
Yeah.
right? Were you buying in or you're working with buying in? Yes.
Yes.
Are you keeping track of the hours you were?
They're in my notes in my iPhone.
That's good.
So they get-
And how many hours have you gotten so far? Well, you need to know.
I mean, I don't know what the total is. I have to add them up.
Okay.
And I forget to check in some days. It's bad.
I told him yesterday that family and, let's be unselfish, will not pay bills, period.
I'm holding hard
Yes.
getting out my entry into this company
Yeah.
because the Helmuth is.
I was just, yeah, I know, and he knows too, but it's just,
So have you guys sat down and talked over with Clayton and Lester and Jeremiah what that would look like with you guys owning part of the business?
Well, I made a proposal, and then I think Jeremiah got scared that if the company doubles its money, I would have made too much money. And so he came back with a counteroffer or something, which I didn't accept. So we're just sitting there right now. So I'm just waiting on some leverage at the right moment.
No, the proposal was completely flawed.
Who wants to name? You ready, Vernon?
I feel like I am responsible for some of the lack of business in the business venture here, and so I probably was how it works. Where I didn't teach them business smarts, and I see the lack of the right people in the right places, and so yeah, in many ways I feel like I owe the boys a big apology. At the same time, we will go back there. You know, it's not like we. I grew up not in the business world. So I appreciate the McIntyres with us and all the staff here to just looking at this whole picture. I'm excited because I know that there's enough of giftings in the family to do this. It's a matter of rearranging some things here. You know.
One more statement.
Please.
I think a misconception about me is that I just don't like to work. Or I just don't want to work hard. That's just not true. It's just I can't stand not knowing what I'm doing or why I'm doing it, or the whole uncertainty is just the biggest thing. Convince me why I should stay here.
Good.
Because I can go work for anyone else.
Great.
For an easier job.
Well, I think that's where leadership has failed a little bit because we see Jeremiah, we see his antennas, we see his need there. He was supposed to help like with the meetings. But who held you to the fire on that one? Because you have a gift. You have a real ability to sense what's happening and see what's happening. And I saw this. But I don't see that. But I need to be able to let you see that and help you get in your place. I really think that's important.
Lester.
Along that, I mean, you said lack of clarity. And that's true. We've had lack of clarity in every area of the business, to the team, to like in every area. And I know there's a lot of it is just growing into leadership areas.
Yeah, and your frustrations are coming out.
We're all overworked, and that's why Jeremiah didn't get that clarity. That's why I didn't have time. We didn't have time to sit down and really brainstorm for a day and get his role really figured. We're just trying to stay afloat. We're just treading water.
Well, that's good. That's fixing to come to an end.
Wheels are turning, Michael.
Yes, thank you, Jesus.
Hiring has been great. Oh my gosh, they're phenomenal. They have added so much. And it's okay for them to hear the kids, be, you know.
Yeah, they do. I love the way the sister-in-laws are really close.
They are, yeah.
It's very unique.
On the problems, we got to see fuller perspective, you know, like, I feel like there's a bit of, you know, is it really fair that they're all making the same amount of money for,
Which is very little.
right, for
Right.
Jeremiah to
Yeah.
just go off and, you know, do his thing, is that really fair? To me, it's a little bit like where they came from. And so some of that stuff needs to be broken down.
I'm proud of them. I really am. I think they're being able to take it, you know, and I know their reactions. I see reactions on them. And I think Clayton is, like, this is hard for him.
Yeah.
I think it's hard for him because I think Clayton and Lester have taken the most, the brunt, but they've also taken the responsibility of this thing.
Right.
We need to accept that everyone has different expectations. You know, like the expectations are going to be different, and that's also okay.
Yes.
You know, Jeremiah has his own, and that's okay, but Clayton has his own.
So I do think that the wives need to share.
And I don't think Jeremiah's heart's in it.
I think that it is a little frustrating.
And here's what I want to talk to the guys about tonight. Maybe we should fire Jeremiah.
He's going to be there. He's going to be there.
I'm going to talk to him about that.
I mean, I think you said it perfectly. You're either all in or
That's what I'm saying.
and that's what these guys are begging for.
Right.
What if he steps back from being owner and just an employee, and they treat him like an employee? Or is it so far as to he just needs to be completely severed from?
When he said that, really something hit my heart. Like, he had someone beat
It hit me earlier.
Why did he have
Yeah,
to
and I
do
was
it?
like frustrated.
So I'm gonna touch the stove a little bit tonight.
Okay.
Main thing I want them to know is this is a hard time, but the good times are coming. And this, we can fix this. We can get this into a multi-million-dollar organization.
And that you need to handle this now.
Right.
This is good.
Yes, good. Right next to the Corn Palace. Yeah. So, all right, let me ask you guys a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Because what I'd like to do is talk to you guys here before we get into dinner, and then we can shut off the cameras and have dinner and some private conversations too. Is that good?
It's good.
How was today? Lester, how was today for you?
It was really good.
Yeah.
I was tonight afterwards. I was just thinking, you know, we should just do this, you know, a couple times a year or so.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't have to be, you know, like anybody with necessarily even
Right.
business
With the
savvy,
family.
necessarily, but like a moderator to come in
That's
and
right.
just to moderate and just to provide a place to spill our guts. and
Get a
stuff.
safe space.
Yeah.
Do you think everybody got real today?
To a little extent.
Yeah.
I'd say 6 maybe out of the 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe 7 or 8.
So Albert, you
there's some-
shook your head
I
now.
think there's
You don't
definitely
think?
some other, you know, there's,
I just feel like we got the outside of the onion, and we got that loose stuff. We got that off.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's some pretty deep emotional tensions and feelings that
there's like
some
some
things
things
like,
like,
you
you
know,
know, do you really
express
want to get into this? Like, you really want to dump a can of worms that no one's going to be able to clean up?
Clean up. Open Pandora's box. Right. Right.
I had a question. How much would it be more beneficial to say stuff in the private from the one-on-one interview? Like,
I mean,
for example, there's quite a few things that I am probably just not going to say to Clayton, Lester, and Albert. But I want to tell you
Yeah.
stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have
Stuff
that.
that will be-
We'll have that moment.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's okay. I mean,
I'm just wondering how much is helpful to say with everyone. Because
Good
not
question.
everything
If
is
it helps
helpful.
me to change, then it is helpful.
Okay,
But if
which
it
is
doesn't
why-
help me to change, then don't say it. You know, if it's just
Yeah.
If it's just to be hurtful.
yeah.
Jeremiah,
Yeah.
a word to you. You mostly err on not saying enough.
Absolutely.
And we respect what you have to say. Just go ahead and spill it and say it, because we know that you're the youngest, but you sense stuff and you feel stuff that we sometimes are oblivious to. And I have a bone to pick with you that you say, I've seen that 3 times. And I'm like, why didn't you say anything? So I would say it.
I think you should use your abilities, which your strengths are in your seeing. You see stuff with better clarity and quicker than the rest of us do. But then if you're disassociated and pulling away from the stress, then we don't ever find out. And we don't know what you're seeing. Like, you have done it, and they've been powerful. They've helped me to change the way we've approached a situation, and we've resolved situations that could have been detrimental because you said something.
Crap that's going on here. I get
And
it.
also, I mean, we're talking about stuff that happened 2 years ago. I mean, so y'all have been hanging on to this
A lot of
stuff
garbage.
for a long time. We need to dump it out and let it go and walk away from it. Y'all need to not hold on to these things anymore, hold it against each other anymore. You've got to see each other in a new light, in the light that you're all working together, in what you're doing together. I mean, this has got to happen.